The French Revolution ended the sumptuary laws. However, it did not ensure that everyone had a similar clothing style. The poor still could not dress or eat like the rich. It was a person's earnings that determined what he or she could wear. And so, different classes of people developed their own styles of dressing. This is how the notion of what was beautiful or ugly, proper or improper, decent or vulgar differed. The clothing styles of men and women reflected what was expected out of them by society. While men presented themselves as serious, strong, independent, and aggressive, women were expected to be docile, delicate, frivolous, and passive. Women in Victorian England were therefore groomed accordingly since their childhood. As girls, they were dressed in stays that held their bodies together. As they grew slightly older, they wore tight-fitting corsets, which would make their waists appear smaller and give shape to their bodies. Although wearing stays and corsets were painful, women were compelled to do so, since it was believed that tightly laced women with small waists were attractive, elegant, and graceful. However, not all women wanted these sufferings. By the 1830s in England, the suffrage movement gathered momentum and women started campaigning for dress reforms as well. Several articles by the reformers were published in women's magazines describing the ill effects of corsets on bodily development. Even doctors reported that many women who wore corsets experienced weakness and lethargy and fainted frequently. A similar movement began in the East Coast of America. Women criticized their long skirts and voluminous traditional clothes since it accumulated dirt and also hampered free movement. The first dress reformer, Mrs. Amelia Bloomer, launched loose tunics that could be worn over ankle-length trousers. The trousers were known as bloomers or knickerbockers. In the 1870s, two associations strongly campaigned for dress reform. These were the National Woman Suffrage Association, headed by Mrs. Stanton, and the American Woman Suffrage Association, commanded by Lucy Stone. They demanded simple dresses and short skirts and the abandonment of corsets. Both in Europe and America, women began a movement for rational dress reform. Initially, the reformers faced a lot of opposition from the conservative women. Some of them even changed back to their traditional style of clothing. However, by the end of the 19th century, the notion of beauty and clothing changed. Conservative people began accepting the ideas of the reformers.